What's up, grappling fans? Jordan Kurtz here alongside Paprocki, and we are bringing you the CJJC 30 for 30 breakout show brought to you by Threshold Recovery. This show is going to be going down, ladies and gentlemen, on April 18th at the Eclipse Event Center. We're cracking the doors open at 6:30. The first match is going to be going down at 8 p.m. It is a massive show. Kat, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk about this massive card that we have here. We have everybody from decorated veterans from just the grappling end of things to high-level notable names that you'll recognize from the UFC, from UFC BJJ. We have wrestling matches that are going to be going on. We have some of the hottest rising prospects in Colorado's grappling scene that are going to be competing on the show, along with some very familiar faces who are veterans of the CJJC cage. I am thrilled to be getting into this with you today.
I'm pumped. Man, it is a good card.
Certainly. Now, without further ado, what do you say we jump right into things and start talking some matchups here?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited.
So, guys, in our main event, you are going to be treated.
Oh, it's a good one.
Is, to me, this is, from a purist standpoint, this is one of the greatest opportunities to see high-level grappling from two decorated guys from the Colorado scene who have familiarity with us in multiple different capacities and facets. This is a bout between Professor Matt Sierra of New Era Jiu-Jitsu, who is going to be taking on Howie Spratt of GFT.
Yeah.
So, I mean, first and foremost, just have to say right off the rip, I love Professor Matt Sierra.
Absolutely.
And what he's done with the New Era crew, I think is something that has to be noted and special. So there's multiple of his pupils that are going to be on the card.
Yeah.
I think that maybe gives a little bit of incentive to go out there and say, hey, let me show you young bucks how I get it done.
Yeah. In his interview, he was talking about how he doesn't compete much, but he feels like he's got to go out and show his school every now and then what this is all about. And so I'm honored. I'm honored that it's on our show. I'm so pumped. Professor Howie Spratt was my first black belt ever, so I have my own personal connection to Howie too. I know that Professor Howie and Professor Matt have previously trained. There's just a long history there, and I'm excited for it to be going down in our cage.
Certainly. And I mean, as I understand from the very first show, Professor Howie, he was the main event, correct?
Yes. Yep. Professor Howie against Professor Mike Martin on CJJC Pro Show 1.
Talk about things coming full circle
Totally.
and being back in the mix here for the 30 for 30 show.
Yes, absolutely.
I think with both of these guys having the history that they do, I think it's one of them is going to walk back into the academy that next week and hit the soundtrack. Y'all must have forgot.
Absolutely. I'm excited, man.
Oh, certainly. It's going to be a great one regardless, and that's something that's worth the price of admission alone right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
But if that wasn't enough, wait, there's more.
There's so much more.
In the co-main event, we have a matchup that I think is going to jump off of the screen for you folks out there. We have a veteran of the UFC Octagon. We have a veteran of the UFC BJJ Pit who are going to be competing here on this show. You have Elijah Swift-Smith of Victory MMA down in Colorado Springs, who is a longtime decorated MMA fighter and competitor of multiple different martial arts here on the Colorado scene, who has now gone on to great things and a tremendous start in the UFC. He's taken on Kai Koslow of Zenith Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu out of Las Vegas, who is also, again, a veteran of the UFC BJJ platform. This is a matchup where you're going to see two guys who have contrasting styles. I think that you see from Koslow a little bit more of a sport jiu-jitsu style. He likes being underneath, he's not afraid to go inverted, try to go for legs, so on and so forth, whereas Elijah's a little bit more of a wrestle jitsu style.
Absolutely.
Elijah's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, but he also has a decorated wrestling background. He has the strength and the power to slam you through the floor.
Absolutely.
And in our rule set, I think that's also something that has to be noted, because in certain jiu-jitsu platforms, you don't have the ability to slam.
Yeah, well, and when you're talking environment-wise, being in a cage is gonna favor Elijah more. I'm not sure how much Ty's been in a cage or had to grapple off of a wall, but Ty is game. He said, Stephen Paprocki, your promotion pumps out UFC guys, and I want one. So whoever, I want him. And Steve even said, all right, I'll see what I can do. And we got Elijah Swift-Smith, man, who's just a sweet, he's the sweetest, most just down-to-earth, cool guy. I'm excited.
Absolutely.
It'll be good.
Gotta love Elijah, and he's such an influence on his academy and with a lot of the youth here within the Colorado scene. I mean,
Absolutely.
pretty much you name your local show, as long as he doesn't have a schedule conflict with him fighting or whatnot, he's going to be there because he's cornering guys or he's just out there in the crowd. He's taking pictures with fans. He's engaging with the public, and with him already being so young, he has such a degree of maturity and presence about him that I think just is so far beyond what his actual years are, and I think that's what makes him such an exciting prospect along with his ridiculous talent.
Yeah.
He gets it. He's a second generation fighter, and he's willing to go out there and say, hey, I want to be active, I want to go compete. Let's run it up. You have a guy from the UFC BJJ platform. Hey, this is his realm. He's a specialist here.
Yeah.
Let me go put myself in the fire, and all you guys keep on thinking I'm a knockout artist. Let me show you continually that I'm a grappler as well, that I'm a well-rounded martial artist. I got a submission finish in my last fight, but let me go out there against a specialist where we can remove all striking from the equation, and I'll go beat a purist within his world.
It's pumping me up. I'm excited.
Certainly. And then beyond that, we have something extremely special. We have a title fight that is going to be going down in the 155-pound no-gi women's class. This is a matchup between a couple of tried and true decorated lady grapplers here of the Colorado scene, veterans with us, very familiar in the process. Now, in terms of the rule set, guys, this is going to be best 2 out of 3 in terms of matches, so they could potentially have 3 full matches back and forth to decide who takes this belt home right here. As far as the competitors in this, we have Flow State Jiu-Jitsu's Jessica Betts, and then we have Alexandra Anderson of The Sanctuary. This is a matchup that, on paper, it's like, wow. You have two different styles, but you also have one person in Alexandra who just, when it comes to athletic metrics, I think she's quite possibly one of the most impressive female athletes that we have across all the disciplines here. I mean, she's tall, she's athletic, she's strong.
Yes.
She has endurance. She's very well faceted in terms of depth of skill.
Yeah.
So I think that makes her impressive in any sort, or also not just impressive, but a threat to any matchup that she enters.
Absolutely. I think Alexandra Anderson's experience in our cage definitely speaks for itself. Alexandra, though, hasn't always had it easy. I have seen her in some really bad spots, and she's just tough. She continuously is scrambling to get to the dominant spot. I don't know as much about Jessica Betts. However, I know Flow State, they always come prepared. I also know that Jessica Betts was going to go to ADCC trials, and she said, wait a minute, a title? I want that. So I know she's going to come game. I know she's going to come hungry, and I'm excited.
Absolutely. And when we start talking about that too, Flow State always puts out competitors who are going to be ready to go. I think too, though, to give credit to Alexandra, I think that more and more as she gets more competition experience underneath her belt, I don't know, I don't mean to say this from like a braggadocious or like an arrogant standpoint, but she's getting more and more in her bag. She's getting more and more feeling like she is her. Like her last matchup with us, she had a full custom fight kit or a full custom rash guard set that she came out to. So all of those things to me just say that like you are gaining more confidence within yourself to put yourself out there as more of like the focus of what's going on. Like, yes, there's a lot of other things that are happening, but look at me.
It's kind of like we're watching her potentially turn into a champion.
Imagine that.
Oh,
Imagine the
wow.
platform set
Okay.
and the story that is being
Ooh, all right, ladies.
like
Let's
there's
go,
something
ladies.
process, folks. But
Yeah.
following
Okay.
from that matchup, we have one that this is fireworks.
This is so crazy.
This one,
It's already started crazy.
yeah, you might get more than you bargained for this one, and hopefully things stay within the rule set directly. But we have a matchup between two spark plugs
Yes.
in the Colorado combative sports scene. You have a specialist on the grappling end who is a veteran of our cage, a veteran of multiple different grappling platforms out there who stays active. That's D'Anthony the Ace Muniz out of New Era Jiu-Jitsu. He is fresh off of a victory by armbar at our last show. You know, went out there immediately, boom, got business taken care of and got the job done. But he's taken on Theo Robinson of Genesis Training Academy, who
He's a tank.
Theo is he is not one to be trifled with.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a kid who the theatrics or you can do a lot of peacocking in any sort of combat sports, but then there's some of those guys out there that they really are that person that you might be trying to sell wolf tickets that you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Theo is one of those kids who, no, like he might really punch you in the mouth.
Sweet.
Like that's just the nature of the kid. Hey, he's a champion on the MMA scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got a Division I wrestling background. He's had some adversity within his life where he's a little bit of a rough and tumble background to where like it's not just the speculation of saying, oh, like this is a tough guy that he might, go and no, it's kind of like one of our he's a Colorado Diaz in a sense of like, no, he will actually act on it.
Yes,
So
absolutely. So throw him in a cage.
right, exactly.
See what happens.
The contrasting styles, though, of the wrestling with the sport jiu-jitsu from D'Anthony, and they both have a chip on their shoulder.
Absolutely.
They both are full of piss and vinegar anytime that they walk into the cage, and they have a tendency to get a little bit chippy
Yeah.
whenever they're competing, regardless of what the circumstances. I mean, they've both been vets here of our platform as well. So, yeah, I think it makes for a very exciting matchup, especially on paper. So, again, boys, please keep it within the rule set. I know where it can go. I love you both. Let's keep it to the rules.
I'm so excited.
Yes, but I also say that because I know how exciting it can be and how high octane that performance can be and what direction it can go.
Absolutely.
So, but following from that, we've got an exciting matchup between a couple of veterans of the scene out there. You have a 170-pound no-gi matchup. This is scheduled for 2 rounds plus an overtime period. You have AJ Robb out of 719 BJJ, who is taking on AJ Fernandez out of Renegade. AJ Robb, again, another one of those guys, wrestling background, tough as an old leather boot,
OG.
MMA background,
Yep,
very
yep.
familiar with the cage.
Totally.
This is going to be a problem to deal with for anybody in there.
Absolutely. I'm always excited to have those like explosive old school guys. You just know that when it's time, they're gonna know how to turn it on. I'm excited to have AJ Fernandez back. When we first started our pro shows, he was super active, but we haven't seen him since CJJC 11, and he was actually against D'Anthony. So yeah, happy to have him back. I know he's grown a bunch. I know he's added in new skills. So the battle of the AJs is what I'm calling this. Who's the better AJ?
There you have it right there. Next matchup from that. This one now, we have Josiah Garcia returning to the cage, this time no gi. The last time that he was with us, he was in a gi. So I'm just interested to see how he plays it out. In a gi, there is, I mean, if you were to have somebody to have a signature move, if you were to call that for anybody within our scene or a frequentor of the CJJC cage, there's nobody who has a more signature move than Josiah Garcia in his baseball bat choke, especially
Absolutely.
when he's in the gi. Now, with this being no-gi, he's also had victories for us in no-gi, but
Absolutely.
him taking on Josh Oakes out of Onyx Jiu-Jitsu, another veteran of our cage who is a very tough competitor, has been in brackets, so he's somebody who is used to having to go the long haul throughout a day, making that walk multiple times. It'll be interesting to see how Josiah approaches this because, again, we know that he's still very, very skilled and equipped in nogi.
Absolutely.
But it's just always interesting when you don't have that one thing that makes you the lethal weapon.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm excited for both these guys. Josh Oakes keeps showing us more and more. He's had just great continuous showings in our cage. Josiah says there's not going to be a difference. He says he's showing us he can do it all still. And always be cautious if he does. He hops on that mic and he starts wandering around and screaming, "Steven, where are you?" And it's its own show.
Do also think that it's going to be some. It's a little bit of an interesting. We don't have a tail of the tape dimensions that are listed here, but I do believe that Josh Oakes has a considerable difference in terms of the dimensions.
That's a great point,
You know,
too.
I think that sometimes he's a lot
larger,
longer
too.
and lankier in that
Yeah.
in that respect. So sometimes there's certain builds or certain body types that are a little bit more tricky to figure out.
Absolutely.
Or like certain other guys that we've seen from the shows, like an Anthony Bendy. Obviously, he's kind of like the wide end of the spectrum example because he's like triple jointed. But just those guys who are long and lanky at times, they can get out of things, or they can end up in weird entanglements, or stuff
Absolutely.
that you're just not regularly used to when there's that much of a difference in terms of the dimensions. So I think that bit of adversity will be interesting to see how Josiah can figure that out, because he's had a lot of success for us.
Yeah.
I think that Josh Oakes could very well be a stiff challenge that presents some adversity for him.
Absolutely. And we are going to find out.
We're here
We're
for it.
going to find out.
And then following that, to open up the main card, that's going to be that first matchup for the title there. So again, that's going to be 3 different potential matchups there that they have. It's best 2 out of 3, so they're going 2 for sure. That final matchup will go after the main event, should there need to be a third one in terms of discussing that out. Now, Kat, that wraps up our main card in terms of discussion here. Now, as we go to talk about the Tier 1 chiropractic undercard preview here, what would you say if you were to name out maybe a grappler or a particular matchup out there? Who do you have your eyes on the undercard that you think is worth people keeping their eyes on?
Well, thank you for asking, Jordan. My eyes are on the 175 no-gi match between Travis Rice and Kobe Tafoya. Travis Rice has been a problem lately. He's getting better and better each time. He's a fantastic person. He's this great competitor. And I'm excited to see what he's going to do. Kobe Tafoya looked great his last time out, but he did look like he was a little bit nervous. He hadn't quite been on our show yet, hadn't been in our cage, and each match that he did, he was in a tournament, he looked better and better, so I'm pretty excited having him back. He knows kind of a bit more to expect, and he's got Travis right in front of him, so yeah. How about you?
That's a great matchup. I mean, gotta love both of those guys. Yeah. Kobe, super tough, very aggressive in competition style, and then Travis, a tried and true veteran. Always, also salute him. Thank you for your service, sir, Marine Corps veteran. But I want to give a little bit of a focus here for a matchup of 2 young studs who I think have, dare I say, the potential to steal the spotlight on this undercard. Now, it's going to be early on in the day, so make sure that you're either there early or you're tuning into the stream early. Again, smash that like, share, and subscribe button wherever possible. But my focus, I think, goes on a couple of young cats who are going to be competing in the 140-pound no-gi match, no-gi bracket, and that's going to be Jesse Fabiano of New Era Jiu-Jitsu, who has taken on Austin Almstead of Otami Martial Arts. Jesse Fabiano has been a kid who we've had the blessing, the pleasure, the whatever description or adjective that you want to throw that direction of seeing him grow in our cage throughout the last, year plus and few shows. This kid could be him.
Yeah.
He, as the young folks say, like when they, the Himothy, the youngins, keep in mind, I'm Unk status over here. With the young cats at the gym, they say I'm Unk status over here.
Sweet.
But he could very well be him.
Yeah.
This kid has shown just a ridiculous level of skill and ability and competition IQ every single time that he's competed for us. I'm not familiar with his opponent in Austin in terms of seeing him with my own eyes. What I can say from anecdotal stories and things that have been shared to me from people close to him is that this kid is the real deal too. And that on their respective scene around for their guys around their age, that sort of, like mid to late teenage bracket, they're kind of the two dudes that are running through everybody else.
Yeah.
And so now this is just a moment where their paths cross. There's going to be two who enter, one who walks out with their hand raised.
Yeah.
I think it sets the table for a pretty exciting matchup. And also, I am interested in knowing how the experience of Olmsted with, I believe he trains with, it's Corey Labato that he trains with.
Yes.
So
Yep.
guys that have competition experience, all of that, how does that work out, especially at this young of age?
Yeah.
But also they're at a point in time where with these teenagers, what we see right now today could be very different from what we see in 2 months from now, or respective to Fabiano's last performance with us and the one a couple of months before that. That look like two different kids.
Yes.
Because they're at that point in time where their growth spurts are happening. They're maturing with their muscular development. They're starting to do a little bit of strength and conditioning. And you go from seeing some of these guys when they first started with us as, for lack of a better reference, like, teenage boys, to now from, just a few months difference.
Yeah.
They look like young men.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, I just, regardless of what it is, when you have kids at this age, they're evolving rapidly, and I am so excited to see this high-level matchup from these two right here.
I am too. Another note that we wanted to highlight was the wrestling match between Aaron Diaz and Graham Thomas. We love putting wrestling in our cage. It's a new style, a lot higher paced, definitely focused on taking the other person down. That will be 3 rounds. The first round is 3 minutes. The following are 2. So make sure that you check that out as well. And if you are a wrestler in Colorado, hit us up. We would love to get more wrestling matches in our cage.
Certainly. And then with that all being said, that wraps up our talk as far as the card and our preview goes here for the CJJC 30 for 30 pre-show breakout. But Kat, why don't we hit them with the itinerary for what's going on throughout the weekend? What is the deal with weigh-ins? Where can people go and check out the show?
Weigh-ins will look a little bit different this time. Instead of doing our normal ceremonial face-offs, we'll keep following this documentary style theme. So you can check all of weigh-ins on our YouTube channel at the CJJC Cage, Friday, April 17th at 4 p.m. So, guys, we are just catching it all. We are catching when they come in, how drained they look, if they've cut much. We're going to see the scale. We're going to get involved in conversations. We're going to pull people out for interviews. This is truly going to be an exclusive inside view on what a CJJC weigh-ins will look like. So definitely join us April 17th at the CJJC Cage on YouTube.
There you have it right there, folks. And then following that, again, we appreciate your support all along the way. You can smash that like, share, and subscribe button on all platforms there. You can catch the card going down on that same YouTube channel at the CJJC Cage. But as far as in-person itinerary goes, keep in mind that is going to be going down Saturday night at the Eclipse Event Center. That is, again, this Saturday, the 18th. That is at Eclipse Event Center off of Sheridan. Doors are going to be cracking at 6:30. First match at 8 p.m. That wraps it up here, though, for us for the CJJC 30 Breakout Show, brought to you by both Threshold Recovery as well as Tier 1 Chiropractic. We want to say thank you all so much for supporting us along here at the CJJC Cage. We will see you at the show.